Hello, I'm Joseph Dillard. Now that we have discussed how integral deep listening understands the drama triangle in its three roles of victim, persecutor, and rescuer, it's time to underline its importance. Once you understand the drama triangle and you begin to look for its roles in your family, relationships, in your nation, as well as in your own thoughts and dreams, you can start to see it everywhere. You may start to wonder why people continue to fall for it, to get sucked into it, what it is about the drama triangle that sells movie tickets and generates what some people mistakenly call love. The drama triangle bridges the three worlds in its pathology. That means that if you don't address the drama triangle in all three realms, it's like eliminating one mutation of coronavirus. It also means that if you do address it in all three realms, that a fundamental barrier to development and a foundational source of delusion is significantly reduced, not only in your relationships and worldview, but in your life in general. When you understand that when you play one role, you end up playing all three, you can take an interdependent approach to health, truth, and others. You no longer delude yourself into thinking one pathology or addiction is less bad or will save you from others. When you understand how pervasive the drama triangle is, you get over the delusion that you can ever escape it. It's part of the human condition. But what you can do is recognize it and choose not to play, knowing there will always remain forms that you do not recognize and that you need to objectify. You can also grow into understanding that if you want to change the world for the better, you have to start by getting out of the drama triangle in these three realms. This is because if you look at any global problem, such as economic exploitation, global warming, terrorism, nuclear proliferation, war, discrimination, propaganda, and delusional world views like conspiracy theories, you will find that they are fundamentally manifestations of the drama triangle. This will cause you to no longer support false solutions, which you will see as merely the switching from one role in the drama triangle to another. Now, I want to elaborate on that last point because it's so important. There are various life realms, and how the drama triangle generally shows up in them is important. In school, students see themselves as victims, administration and parents as rescuers, and teachers as both rescuers and persecutors. But notice how parents, teachers, and administrators are likely to be in the role of rescuer while experiencing themselves as victims. Because after all, you create problems for them as a student. So, after looking at the school drama triangle, we can look at the family drama triangle. The outside world can easily be seen as a source of persecution, and our parents protect us from it. As children, we are easily placed in the role of victim. So, our family situations are often locked in the drama triangle, with parents being the rescuers and us the victims. Let's consider love relationships. Loneliness is often experienced as a persecutor, and romance, or our soulmate, is our rescuer. In such a framing, guess which role we get to play? Okay, so obviously we end up playing all three, but then we're victims of the drama triangle and the game of love, and thereby avoiding true love, which is intimacy. In addition to these areas of school and family and love, there is the area of addiction. Stress is our persecutor, and both the addiction and its enablers are our rescuers. So maybe we're uncomfortable with work, or maybe we're uncomfortable with a relationship, maybe we're uncomfortable with whatever we're working with integral deep listening. We can rescue ourselves by indulging ourselves in this or that addiction. Addicts see themselves as victims. The world or boss is the persecutor, and whatever the addiction is a source of comfort, and it rescues us. So let's take a look at the drama triangle in medicine. It's easy to assume that disease, depression, and anxiety are persecutors, but this is a mistake, because then we seek rescuers. Doctors and therapists, they become rescuers. Then we easily take the role of victim. All right, so what I'm suggesting is that's just not a healthy way to approach either sickness or health, because it's a concept that's within the conceptual framing of the drama triangle. In the next area, let's look at financial security. Economically, poverty is a persecutor. Then a good paying career with status becomes the rescuer. And within that context, it is quite easy to see ourselves in the role of victim. So can you see how people spend their whole lives in their life work within the context of the drama triangle? Can you have any peace of mind or happiness really within that context? Then there is the realm of culture. The world is the persecutor. Our beliefs, cultural traditions, and religion rescue us from that persecution of that. Who we are, our in-group, our sense of community, also rescues us. Those who share our groupthink are rescuers, but in relationship to the broader world culture of outgroups, we and our collectives, our in-groups, are the victims. But, of course, we and our in-groups tend to see ourselves as the rescuers. Pretty sick, but on a global scale, with global consequences. Here's another. How about terrorism? Terrorists are persecutors. The military then is the rescuer, and we, society, are victims. So, do you see how that entire framing, which is fundamental to mainstream media narratives, is pathological? Doesn't keep the world from evolving, from waking up. Let's take a look at ecology. Well, global warming is the persecutor. And of course, those businesses and corporations that create global warming, our behaviors that create global warming, are persecutors. All right, then who's the rescuer? Okay, sustainability and technology. All right, so the world then becomes the victim of not only global warming, but of our behaviors. I'm suggesting this is a framing that really doesn't solve global warming, but keeps us stuck in a framing that actually continues to generate an unhealthy global environmental situation. The same kind of entrapment can occur with meaning in life. Meaninglessness is the persecutor. We all want to avoid a sense of meaninglessness in our lives. Then something that creates meaning, like goals or service to others, can take the role of rescuer, while we are the victims of meaninglessness. All right. So question that framing and see if it really does for you what you want it to. And then consider how this applies to religion. Evil is the persecutor. We're the victims of our sin and ignorance. And the Savior, the Guru, the Lama, the Messiah, or Bodhisattva is the rescuer. This is a common theme that we find in almost all religions and spiritual groups and organizations. It places them within the drama triangle. It doesn't provide a solution to getting out of the drama triangle because all of the fundamental elements exist within it. So we can look at specific religions in this regard. For Judaism, historically, Canaanites, Nazis, Palestinians, and Goyim have been perceived as persecutors. All right, so Jews are the victims, and God, the state of Israel, and Zionism are the rescuers. Similarly, in Christianity, the devil and sin are the persecutors. Christians and humanity are the victims. And therefore, we need Jesus and God to come and rescue us. Also, by our own change of heart, by accepting Jesus as our Savior, we rescue ourselves. Let's take a look at Hinduism. Aren't karma and avidya, or ignorance, the persecutors? Aren't the adherents of Hinduism the victims? And aren't Atman, avatars, gurus, and yogas the rescuers? Let's take a look at Buddhism. Dukkha, which is suffering, and avidya, or ignorance, and Atman, or the self, are the persecutors within the Buddhist context. The victims are monks and laity. And the rescuers are Buddha, Nirvana, and the Eightfold Noble Path. How about Chinese humanism? Traditionally, chaos in the form of floods and earthquakes and invasions is the persecutor. The Chinese are the victims, and order, that is the rescuer. Meditation can also be approached and understood in terms of the drama triangle. Our thoughts and feelings are persecutors. We, the meditators, are the victims because they intrude and keep us from inner peace. And then centering tools, or whatever practice we have learned to use, becomes our rescuer. Meditation within the drama triangle is unlikely to generate the peace of mind that we are seeking. We can apply the same understanding of the drama triangle to scientific humanism. Irrationality and abuse are persecutors. Mankind is a victim, and reason and human rights are the rescuers. Well, what's the result of that formulation? Probably we are going to defeat the effectiveness of reason and human rights because we are applying them and pursuing them for the wrong reasons, to escape persecution. Okay? So once we understand this narrative, we have an opportunity or the possibility presents itself to rethink how we approach scientific humanism. How about atheism? Well, in atheism, religion is the persecutor, is it not? Adherents of religions and the gullible are the victims, and then rationality becomes the rescuer. And so we become blind to where and how rationality itself ends up being a persecutor, generally from a form of meritocracy and elitism. So it doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar to see how these roles are interchangeable, shifting from one to the other spontaneously, like water turns to steam or ice when the conditions are right. Socrates' solution to the drama triangle is as follows. Truth transforms the role of persecutor. Goodness transforms the role of rescuer. And beauty, which is harmony, balance, and peace of mind, transform the role of victim. Ideal's solution to the drama triangle is to see how wisdom and confidence transform the role of persecutor, how empathy and acceptance transform the role of rescuer, while inner peace and witnessing transform the role of victim. Reasons for these correlations are explained in the video series on pranayama. The various practices of integral deep listening are designed to increase each of these alternatives to drama. For those who like to read and want to address the drama triangle in more depth, I cover much of this material both in Waking Up and in Escaping the Drama Triangle in the Three Realms: relationships, thinking, and dreaming. In the last video in this series, we will identify toxic words that put you into the drama triangle and how to excise them from your speech and thinking. Thanks for watching. See you next time.